right. Join me right now is UFC bantamweight Ray Rodriguez. Ray, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Chilling, man. Just finished eating with the family. I had a early workout so I can get in some food with the family. We're gonna do a little movie night tonight. So yeah, just finishing up.
Good, good, man. What are you guys gonna watch?
I don't know, man. So there's a I don't know. There's this new kid movie on
Mm.
Netflix. It's like I got to keep it PG with the kids, man. I don't like them watching anything crazy. So I forgot what it's called, man. But it's kind of cartoony, something like that, just to get the family together and hang out.
For sure, man. A little relaxed time. Now, you made your UFC debut last September, and now you're returning on March 13th. What
Yeah.
were some of what were the months like following your UFC debut before you jumped back into camp for this fight?
Um, it was a little hectic, man. So whenever I fought, dude, I took the fight like on 2 days' notice, man. A lot of people don't understand like how it was the 2 days before. They're like you get there 2 days and you sit in your hotel room and then you go fight. But man, like I had to get medicals and I had to get all kind of stuff. And actually, it was kind of wild because whenever I landed in Vegas, for the fight, my manager hit me up and he's like, "Hey, man, just so you know, you're not fighting after all." He says that the guy who I was going to replace, he originally failed a COVID test and then he passed it, right? So they're like, not going to fight after all, man. Glad you made it out. We're still going to kind of go through the weigh-ins, you'll make weight or whatever, and we'll send you home. Um, so it was kind of weird, I want to get in the call that evening, and they want to tell him my manager Jason told me I was going to fight after all. So it was just a wild experience, you know what I mean? And it's been all right, man. Like obviously we didn't do the greatest in the fight, man. We made a mistake and we got caught by a really good guy. And whenever I got home, it was kind of crazy, man. I have my own academy here in San Antonio called Ultimate Submission Academy. And I got home, dude, and they had like a welcome home parade, and I had only been gone for like three days, But one of the students that I have, his dad, he's a firefighter, so they brought like fire trucks and all kind of stuff. So it was good to know that, man, we still have that love, whether we win or lose. And after that, man, it's just been training, like healing little injuries here and there, and just getting back to the grind.
It's good to hear that, man, after going through that type of roller coaster where they say you're gonna fight, but you're not gonna fight, and then you have to go through making weight and man, that's very hectic. I could not even imagine going through something like that. But you get back home, man. You got the support of the town, basically.
Yeah, for sure, man. It was a beautiful thing. I wasn't expecting it, like I got home, we got off of the plane, and me and the family went to go eat. And then we went to the gym. My wife was like, "Oh, I got to go get my charger from the gym." And in my mind, I was like, "We got 100 chargers at the house. Like, what do you got to go to the gym for?" And she made a detour. She started acting funny on one of the streets coming around to the gym. And we passed the actual doors to the gym, which now I'm like, "What's going on?" And we pulled across the big shopping center that we're in, and like I said, we saw a fire truck, and everyone had signs and foghorns and stuff like that. So it was beautiful to see that, or to have that support. I'm looking forward to March 14th, 15th, whenever I come home with the big W.
Exactly. I could only imagine what they're gonna do for you when you get your win. They're gonna have they're gonna have airplanes. They're gonna have what are the Blue Angels or whatever.
A big blimp. We're gonna have
Yeah.
a blimp.
Like in Scarface, right? They're gonna have a big blip for you. The world is mine on there.
Hell yeah,
Yeah,
dude. No, I'm
yeah,
good, man.
for sure. Well, you did have an opponent originally, Erwin Rivera, man. When you heard the tragic occurrence of him and what he went through, what was your reaction to that news, man? It must have been devastating, even for yourself. You have to fight him, but still, you feel for him.
So originally, what happened was my manager called me. He just let me know that that fight wasn't going to happen anymore. It fizzled out. That he was under some legal issues or something like that, and I wasn't aware to the extent of what happened. And a couple hours later, one of my old coaches sent me the article of what happened, and I was just blown away. Like the article that he sent me, I was getting like bits and pieces. Like the first article I read was that he attempted murder, or no, that he did murder someone. And then I got another article 2 hours later saying that it was his sisters or whatever. So it's scary to even fathom being in that mindset, you know. And I don't want to speak too much on it, you know. Like I know it's horrendous, you know. I feel for the sisters, I feel for the family. I'm glad that everyone made it out safe. I'm glad that they made it out alive, and it's just a blessing that they did. Being or after reading the stories of exactly what happened, you know, it's scary movie type situation, man. And again, thoughts and prayers going out to their family.
It's a crazy situation, and at the same time it almost made it worse because what you just said, man, the bits and pieces came out. Like, so at first it was like attempted murder or murder, and then the story slowly, the story continued to change, and then you started to understand what actually was going on. But in the beginning, if you reacted to that instantly, you were a lot of people could have a really negative reaction to what transpired.
Agree. I definitely agree, man. And I've heard people talk about that it was like CTE, and it's crazy how stories start getting formulated with without hearing the facts. You know what I mean? I don't know what it was. You know what I mean? Psychosis, and I even read somewhere that he's had a higher power telling him to do that. But again, whatever it is, whatever caused it, and whatever's going on, man. Again, I wish him prayers, and sending prayers their way.
For sure. Now he gets replaced by Rani Yahya, which is a guy that is a much bigger name, a guy that has so much more experience. When you heard that, did it instant click for you? You're like, oh, this is a even a bigger opportunity than my debut.
Absolutely, man. So Hani's been around for a super long time, you know. I don't know if it's Hani or Ronnie. I think it's Hani, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so I was in the army, man, for 6 years, and my last 3 years in the army, I was a combatives instructor. And the reason why I say that is because the last year I was there, the UFC went to Fort Hood for like a fight for the troops, and Hani Yahya was actually on the card. And I remember seeing him specifically, man, and for whatever reason, like told myself that that's a matchup that I would love to have, you know, like, and this is 10 years ago, bro. Like, I've told the story 100 times, but just because it's crazy the way things turn out, you know, like I was super impressed by his grappling, and he was a stud. But even back then, 10 years ago, I felt like I matched up really well with the dude. So, it's good, man. Jason hit me up with the opportunity to fight him. And there was no like hesitation or anything, man. I love that fight. I love the matchup. I love what he brings to the table. I love the credentials that he brings to the table. And with the win over Hani, man, that puts us right back where or puts us high in the rankings immediately. You know.
Definitely. Now, his last two fights, his last two appearances in the octagon were against Barzola, which was a majority draw, and then before that, it was a decision loss to Ricky Simone, which are two tough matchups for him. Have you gone back and watched those fights, and what is your assessment?
Yeah, for sure. So, I've studied his past. I don't know, like 8, 9 fights. You know, and one thing that I am finding is as the fights go on or get um more recent, his stand up is getting a little bit better. You know, but we know what he's gonna do. You know what I mean? He's done it to every single one of his fight. He's attempted to do it to every single one of his opponents, and he's a little bit older now, so really doubt anything's gonna change. So he's a stud grappler. You know what I mean? He's ADCC champion back in 2000 and something, and we know what he brings to the table, man. And we're training appropriately for it. And like I said, we have the tools in the toolbox to bring home this W, man. I'm looking forward to it.
What does the cast and crew look like for you for this fight?
So right now I'm training at my own academy. Like I said, I have Ultimate Submission Academy. I'm bringing guys in from. So right now I'm training in San Antonio. We have guys coming in from Killeen. Um, I have a lot of different training partners from the area that are coming down. Really good grapplers, really good wrestlers, really good stand-up guys, and we're kind of formulating our own team within our walls, man. So it's a beautiful thing, man. Like I considered cross training a little bit, maybe flying out to Las Vegas or something like that, and jumping in with some of those teams. But again, we have a lot of the necessary pieces in the puzzle here already. I could sleep in my own bed, man. I don't got to be away from my family. So again, just a lot of cross training, bringing guys in.
Texas, man, recently they got hit with that cold weather. I heard there was power outages. Did that affect you any?
Hell yeah. This last week sucked, man. So let me see. I think we got our first snow on Monday, right? So we got our first snow on Monday, and it was dope, right? Like we don't ever see snow. It's like phenomenal. Went outside, made snowballs for like 10 minutes, and then fucking hands started freezing. So we were like, hell no, let's go back in. But at that time, whenever the snow came, we had already lost power at the house. So we weren't thinking about coming back in and warming up, right? We were just like, let's go outside, chill in the snow or whatever, and have a good time. Anyway, we were out there for like 10, 15 minutes, made some snowballs, failed, tried to make some snowmen, failed, right? But it started freezing. So we come back inside, no power. And we just have like a little fireplace in our living room to help warm us up, you know. And we only had a couple logs, like it's nothing that we planned for. So it was amazing that first day, right? So we wound up coming back to the house. We tried to tough it out with no power, man. It was rough, you know. Like there's 4 of us in the house right now. I have an 8-year-old, I have a 3-year-old, and I have my wife. And we were all laying in our bed, like under the covers, trying to like igloo it up. And it only lasted so much, man. If you can imagine, a 3-year-old and an 8-year-old, they're all over the place, and they're not gonna sit still. So we wound up leaving. We had to go stay at my mom's house for a little bit. And as we left, our neighbor, we were kind of keeping in contact with them, and they let us know that we didn't have any water. So we were supposed to be over there for a day. We wound up staying over there for the whole week, man, and everything was shut down, like restaurants, grocery stores, everything, you know. So we're living off of the pantry and something like, again, like something I'm not used to, you know. So I was kind of like ramen noodles for carbs. I was like, damn, I could do some like eggs for protein. I was doing like canned whatever for greens, you know what I mean? Because I'm in camp now. Like it's not like I could just eat whatever. So luckily I was still able to get some training in. So where my mom stays to my academy, it's not that far. But it was wild, man, like driving on those snowy roads and stuff like that. Like I was going 10 miles per hour for, I don't know, 30 minutes for a 5-minute drive, you know? So it was wild, man. And glad it's over. It's a beautiful day today, dude. We're playing outside, jumping on the trampoline with the kids. Like, again, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, man. I'm just glad that shit's over with for sure.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's just unexpected surprises, man, throughout the camp. But I guess you're used to it. Fighters. You know, I talk to them all the time. They're used to that. The weather is the last thing on their mind.
Go to roll with the punches, you know what I mean? Like I try to make the best out of the situation. I was even thinking about doing like a Rocky monologue or running outside with the cold, but man,
Yeah,
weather don't get along, bro. Like it's tough.
Yeah.
Hate cold. People talk about ice baths and stuff. Hell no, I'm not doing it. I'll stand the heat. I'd rather it be 110 degrees, 365 days of the year, man. Like I'd rather there just be no winter at all, to be honest.
For sure. Well, March 13th, man, how do you see yourself getting your first UFC victory?
Man, a lot of ways this could happen, you know. So again, I do respect the ground game from Hani, but I'm not afraid of it. You know, I'm a black belt myself. I've competed a long time. So we could finish it on the feet. We could finish it in decision, or we can get a sub. You know, like I've seen him in bad situations on the ground as well. So either of those 3 ways, you know, it can happen, and we've trained for those 3 specific ways to win, you know, or there's only 3 ways to win. My gas tank's on fire, man. I'm not getting tired in training camp. One thing that we do notice with Hani is as the fight tends to go on, he tends to kind of get a little bit more tired throughout the rounds, you know, like his last fight with Hani, man, like, or not Hani, with Barzola, round 3 was gas, you know. It was like a 10-8 round, and that's what made it the draw, you know. So just little things like that we're kind of picking up and we're training for. So however it happens, man, we're coming home with the W, man. There's no doubt in my mind.
All right, a couple more things pertaining to just the sport in general. You know, there's a lot of violations in the cage, you know what I mean? Like things that don't get penalized off the bat, and some of the more often things that happen are like fence grabs and eye pokes and groin shots, you know, those things that nobody likes. You know, which one do you think should be an automatic point deduction, no questions asked?
An automatic point deduction, man. I would say, damn, I don't know, man. Like, I guess if you kick someone in the face while they're down, you know, and it's blatant, it should probably be an automatic point deduction, you know. I feel like if anything happens blatantly with bad intentions or with the intent to get an advantage, and they know it's blatant, you know what I mean? Like kicking, like doing a low blow on purpose, automatic point. But if it's something accidental or just potentially or accidentally poke someone in the eye, I don't know, man. I understand a warning, but if it's blatant, trying to get an advantage in the fight, man, I feel like it should be an automatic point deduction for sure.
Do you think referees should take more points in a fight?
No, not necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if it isn't blatant, man, like in the fight, you're in controlled chaos. You know what I mean? So anything can happen if you're trying to throw an inside leg kick and the dude freaking moves to a wrong direction or something like that. Then accidents do happen. But if it's something that they're doing intentionally, I feel like that's means for a point deduction. You know, and speaking of point deductions too, I feel like the 10-point must system, I feel like there should be more like 10-8 rounds and even 10-7 rounds, man. Like I know they talked about adding it to the game, but I feel like we don't see it as much as it should be called. You know, if someone's getting beat up bad, you know, not even a close round, 10-7, 10-8, something like that, you know, I feel like it would make the sport a little bit more interesting for sure.
Yeah, I agree with you on that part about the 10-7s. I feel like there's a lot of fighters that do earn 10-7s. They just don't get it. They just want to get stuck on that 10-8. And there should be an in between, you know, like you barely win the round, 10-9. You win it clearly, 10-8. You dominate, 10-7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't understand why that's not implemented right now as we speak.
I agree, man. Again, I feel like it would make the sport more interesting and a little bit more fair, you know, for the competitor. Um, it gives both sides of the fight a incentive to really turn up the heat, you know, and not pull off of that gas pedal. So yeah, I think that would be something that would entertain the fans a lot more as well.
No doubt. Well, you're going to be entertaining the fans on March 13th, man, in Las Vegas. Thank you, Ray, man, for the time, and all the best to you and your family.
I appreciate it, brother.
Take a move in the ring. You can hit me with a word you feel.